I'm imperfect, so I slipped up and I had my heart ripped up. But you're the lifter of my head. Come and
Django, have you always been alone? Django, have you never loved again? Love will live on, life must go on.
What's up? This is your boy, Deacon D. Django, and we are here again with another episode, ladies and gentlemen, of The Devil's Advocate. And I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and of course for all my people down there in the Raw and Uncut room that joined us last night for cocktails with Deacon Django and friends. We're going to be doing that every Thursday. We was at the Wing Shack last night on John Barrow. Of course, everybody don't forget to support black businesses. So we went to the Wing Shack last night, and we had us a great time. Me and Miss Black Beauty, a.k.a. Nakia, and Rondon, which, just good when I can get him to get off the alcohol for about 10 minutes. He actually is coherent. And we had us a great time last night doing and basically talking about conversations that we really can't talk about on Christian radio. So we had a great time last night. We're going to be doing it again every Thursday night, we'll be doing it every Thursday around 8 o'clock. Usually I think I'm usually off by then. I'm putting my goat to sleep, so usually we'll be doing it around that time. And, of course, today, I'm actually waiting on them. They are actually our special guests for today. They are on their way here. And what's up, Mia? Actually on their way to the studio as we speak today. Hey, D, how you doing? And they will be here. Oh, go live. I don't know. I think I got an invite for somebody to get on my live, but it went away. But anyway, so we're going to be waiting on them. What's up, Sharita? How you doing? Yeah, no. And I want to, of course, thank on the Wheels of Steel over here, my man who grows no hair. Well, he's growing a little hair. He seems he's in a jovial mood, so I'm going to call him the happy black man today because it seems like he got some good news. Our elder statesman, Mr. Super Dave, how you doing?
Hey, I'm hanging in there, man. I'm having a good time
today. You having
a
good time today?
Yes,
that's good. I like that. You said you got some good news today. I'm not going to get into your business, but unless you want to tell people.
Yeah, I will tell people.
I've
been just quickly. I'm going to talk about a little bit on my show also.
But thank you, man.
For the last couple of weeks, I've been having some pains. Actually, I've been having some pains for about 15 years, and they've gotten to the point where they're no longer manageable.
Right.
So I went to the doctor 2 weeks ago, and they took an X-ray of my leg and saw a growth on my bone. And so they immediately sent me to a orthopedic oncologist.
Okay.
And, of course, you immediately send me to an orthopedic oncologist. Well, they set up an appointment, so they made me wait 8 days.
Made you wait 8 days?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the fastest he could get me in.
Okay.
So I get to the so for the last 8 days, let's say, I've been sweating it. I'm thinking I've got cancer because my leg is hurting.
Right.
I'm thinking.
And you immediately just went straight to cancer? You didn't go to sore muscle, bad bone?
Well, when they send you to an ortho oncologist.
Ortho-oncologist, okay.
Okay, so that means bone cancer doctor.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, to make a long story short, I finally went to him this morning.
Right.
We had our appointment, and he came in immediately and said, Mr. Coleman, I can see it on your face. Let me just assuage some of your concerns. You don't have cancer.
All right.
So
that's great.
that was fantastic news.
I'm going to hit a bell over here.
I know that's right. So
we're going to hit a bell over here.
Was planning a big weekend. That was going to be kind of solemn and down and everything.
Okay.
And now I'm going to party like it's 1999.
Okay,
so,
well, that's good.
Now, I might be dying of something else.
Well, are you going to make your quail on a bed of rice pilaf?
Actually, no, I'm not. I'm actually going to be up in the mountains with some friends. We're going to be fishing and.
Oh, you ain't gonna be up there with the colonizers now.
Actually, we are. We are going. We're going to Pettigene Mountain. Okay.
Is that in Morrilton?
Outside of Morrilton, yeah.
Okay.
So, and then of course, Russellville. It's all in that redneck area. So I broke out my Colin Kaepernick's T-shirt this morning that I'm going to be wearing.
You going to go up in the woods with them and agitate them? Okay, yes.
Hey, I'm a black man that just got told you don't have cancer.
Okay.
Okay.
Now you're going to be the black man that's going to disappear up in the woods. Okay.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm going to take something with me.
Okay, we'll take something with you.
Okay.
You need to
Where's Leroy? Well, he down and mess with that black guy. See, I told y'all not to be messing with him.
Not mess with Leroy.
Be bold enough to wear a Colin Kaepernick shirt. You better leave him alone. But
I thought that's interesting. Before we get into our top day, we're going to talk about that, about black people being monolithic, and I don't know how I feel about that conversation because it kind of irritates me. But it seems to me that the NFL, it was never about his protest, was it?
No, it
wasn't.
wasn't.
Looking at all these knuckleheads that they're bringing in after the draft, all these white guys that got issues, and even black guys that got issues, prior criminal records, stuff like that. The NFL is welcoming them with open arms.
Well, it was really about that thing in the White House, the pathological liar of the United States.
Right. Because
all of them were buddies.
Right.
And, of course, they were trying to satiate him, which was ridiculous.
Right.
And they ended up, I think the NFL ended up biting off more than they could chew.
Okay.
Because they realized that and even still, I still haven't went back to the NFL. I still haven't went back.
You're not gonna watch them?
No, I don't plan on it. I don't care for them.
Oh my goodness.
And then when you draft Nick Bosa, who was
don't even let me
a
get
racist
started on that. Don't even let me get started on that. But folks, we are getting ready to have a good time because guess what? Black folks on CPT have finally showed up. This is what I'm talking about. Now, I can't say nothing because last night when we did cocktails, what's up, Nikki G? We did cocktails with Deacon the Django. I ain't going to lie, I was on CPT. I was on Color Folks time, but it wasn't necessarily my fault. So we've got our two denizens of the deep here. Hey, Russ, how you doing, bro? We got our denizens of the deep coming in. We're going to enjoy them. That's I want to call them the devil's advocate married couple. Nobody, they knocked on the door and then left.
They're out there.
Huh?
They'll be here.
What they doing out there, kissing or something? What they doing?
I have no idea.
I saw somebody knock on the door and then just walk. You heard him knock, didn't you?
Yeah, he's out there waiting on the Nakia, I guess.
Oh, Lord help. Now they out there making woo in the car, folks. So what we gonna do? What we gonna do? So we can go ahead and just seamlessly flow this show. We're gonna go ahead and take us a break right quick, and I'm gonna try to go and yank them in here and tell them stop pitching woo in the car. No, we will be back momentarily right here, Devil's Advocate.
Hi, I'm attorney Theodore Thompson from the Thompson Law Firm, and I want to help with your legal matter. Whether it's criminal defense, bankruptcy, personal injury, or family law, I want to help you. I can be reached at 501-503-5095. Don't face your legal issues alone. You need an attorney whose primary objective is providing you with the best legal representation. Our office address is 415 North McKinley, Suite 710 in Little Rock. I'm attorney Theodore Thompson, and I want to provide you with the best legal representation.
Hey friends, Father's Day is right around the corner, and Coleman's Dynamic Products is offering a dynamic gift just for Dad. Pick 6 for Dad. Any 6 items in my product line. Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, Dust, Juice, Nuts, Batter, you name it, all for only $29.95 plus shipping and handling. Upgrade to Pick 10 for only $39.95. Pick 6 for Dad. You must call 615-554-0568 to get this dynamic Father's Day
Day special. Dad and you will be glad you did. Each purchase receives a Coleman's Dynamic downloadable cookbook. We want to say Happy Father's Day for all the great fathers out there. And while you enjoy your day, don't forget to bake it, grill it, smoke it, oh yeah, with Coleman's Dynamic product. Pick 6 or pick 10. You must call 615-554-0568 to get this dynamic Father's Day special.
Okay, we're back. It's your boy Deacon the Django, and I have two of my, I guess I can say one of my best administrators, my best moderators in the room. She has been quite active, and she's been doing it. Now I'm gonna list her, for to protect parties involved. I'm gonna list her by her name that she gave me, put on her mug, which is Black Beauty and Highway Cowboy. Let me see. Black Beauty was a horse, and Highway Cowboy ride horses. Anyway, that's another story and topic. It was something that we talked about that last night. Yeah! Ride 'em, cowboy, ride 'em, ride 'em. I'm just saying. So, anywho, we are talking today. Of course, I want to thank them for joining us. They getting ready to take their little. What y'all doing? Y'all eloping? What are y'all doing this week? Y'all doing a getaway? Yeah. I got a getaway. Something to kill. Huh? Oh, y'all going to the casino? Yeah. But that's sweet. Down Louisiana. Down Louisiana way. Yeah. Y'all going down there and gonna get all, yeah. Oh, really? Okay. Crawfish? You like crawfish? I'm a northerner, so I can't get into crawfish.
I'm from the South, and I don't eat crawfish.
I know. Okay, if we revoking her black card, black people gonna have to be monolithic today. Our topic today is our black people monolithic, and of course, I'm gonna let Black Beauty tell you about that one. You know what monolithic means, right? Yeah. Okay, Dad, do you want to enlighten everybody about what monolithic means for the listening audience out there? There you go.
Everybody the same damn thing.
The same damn thing.
But we're not.
We're not the same thing.
We're not.
So some of us is like coons, some of us is still like runaway slaves, some of us is still on the plantation, some of us is woke, some of us is hoteps. Yeah. And some of us is bougie, and some of us is just ghetto ratchet.
And some of us are just us.
And some of us just us.
Some of us are just us.
Okay, so what is just us?
Just us means that you are who you are. You're not trying to be anything other than who you are. You may pull something. You could be a chameleon, meaning that sometimes you may have to be a little ghetto ratchet.
Ghetto ratchet?
Yeah, sometimes you may have to be a little
like when they don't give you like the proper condiments for your chicken sandwich?
No, that's not being ghetto ratchet. That's just... Oh,
you want to speak to the manager?
I asked for mayo. Can I please have some mayo? You may have missed when I said that, but I did. I asked for mayo.
You didn't ask for mayo?
I mean,
but that was a black-owned business. We can't get ghetto in there. We get done up in our own,
I mean,
because ghetto people in the ghetto black stuff. Who you talking to like that?
Yeah, somebody's subject to pull out their 45.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Right.
Yeah,
there you go. What's up, Corey? Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying. You go to Chick-fil-A, you can get ghetto ratchet there because, the white folks, they kind of scared.
But you know what? You never have an opportunity to get ghetto ratchet at Chick-fil-A because they offer
They always so nice. Aren't they so nice?
Customer service.
Aren't they the nicest colonizers you ever met?
Yes, but they need to do a class on customer service.
But they'd be like, oh, can I offer you this? Hey, Christy.
Welcome to Chick-fil-A. My name is Dave. I'll be more than happy to serve you today.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave, you are so wonderful.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so they make you want to buy something because of...
Right. Well, I really just came for water, but since you're so nice, let me get the double Chick-fil-A. Let me get 8 of those fries.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're nice like that. Yes. What's going on, Christy? So, and I'm saying... I've had black folk say, they don't want to live around ninjas. In other words, wow. I've had black people say that when they buy their house, they don't want to live around a bunch of black folks. True. So, and most people would say that people that act like that are bougie. Yep. You don't want to be around your own people. You don't support black businesses because you think that white people give better service, give better product.
I love my people too much not to be around them. I grew up in a mixed neighborhood, and I would prefer to live in a mixed neighborhood. I think that you learn more when you're around a plethora of people. You learn
Right.
different cultures. You learn how to accept more people. And I was fortunate enough at that time when I lived in John Barrow, it was mixed.
Right.
We had white folks, black folks. We had some Asian folks, some Hispanic folks. We had a mixture of people. Now, I'm not going to say that I never experienced racism or people acting funny or different, but my dad taught me how to deal with it. The people that stayed up the street from us, they talked to us every day, but they were taught to be racist. But
Right.
we dealt with it.
Right. And you know, and that's the biggest thing. Me coming from the city, that was the same thing. Where I grew up, of course, in New York City, we have a plethora of people. But where I grew up in Brooklyn, we only had two groups of people here. Me and the Puerto Ricans, black folks and Puerto Ricans.
Right.
Okay? And even though we coexisted. Now, let's get a difference between coexisted and living happily ever after.
Right.
The blacks and the Puerto Ricans coexisted.
Right.
But, yeah, we talked crap about each other behind tables. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? They
Right.
referred to us at the end. We referred to them as the Guala Gualas. You know, we had our own little thing. Same thing with Italians. Italians the same way. Italians didn't like anybody else except Italians. You know, you had the Jewish people, and of course, and that's what happens. There you go. Y'all two get up close. Not acting like y'all ain't used
I
to it.
sent you a request
Yeah.
to come on to
Okay.
your
Oh, did you? Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm gonna put you on. I'm sorry.
Speaking of Puerto Rican,
I'm so sorry. Hold on.
Puerto
he is
Ricans
so-
ain't. they
See, I can
just,
see everybody can see y'all love.
What they call them, Brother Dave? Puerto Ricans are just Negroes with straight hair.
Oh, here he go.
No, I mean,
David's kind of biting his lip on that one. Don't be
Dad,
talking about
don't-
the Puerto Ricans,
don't
bro.
feed into the.
no, that's what they. A Puerto Rican.
I
that's
mean,
a-
but there are Puerto Ricans of Afro descent.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
Afro-Latinos,
exactly.
right.
It is Puerto Ricans of Afro descent.
Uh-oh.
And a
They
lot of
all of African descent.
There you
The
go.
Chinese, the Japanese, the Mexicans, the Brazilians,
Yes.
the Puerto Ricans,
Yes.
and the Americans
Yes.
are all of African descent. So
Go on get him, Dave. Go on get him. See, that's what I said. You brought him in. He gon' chin check. He gon' chin check.
A lot
So-
of times people aren't willing to accept that they are of African descent.
well, would you want to accept that you are Caucasian descent?
Okay, so
black.
hold on. So
Right on.
I'm like 100% black.
they're 100% black.
Yes.
Oh,
I didn't have to do, what's the little thing?
what the?
Ancestry.com.
And
I'm not doing that foolishness.
I'm not. Well, you know, they say it's for entertainment purposes. But anyway, let's talk about black folks in the age of Trump,
Right on.
because they messing it up for everybody right now.
I think that not only black folks, I think the Democrats are messing it up right now. When you got 86 people running trying to run on the Democratic ticket, they're dividing the votes. I think that these women I think right now we have like 22 people.
That's a lot. That's a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like Tinder.
Right.
I mean,
right.
and I agree with you. I think Democrats would have did good if they limited their field to no more than 10
Right.
potential candidates. And I mean,
Maybe
De Blasio.
7.
I mean, I know very little about him. I mean, he's a New York mayor. He did some good things in New York, but a lot of people up there hated him.
Is that right?
It's
And he joined in just last week, maybe.
Right.
About
And
2
then we
weeks
have
ago.
another mayor, the first gay mayor.
Indiana.
Yeah. So it's like, it's too many people, but not only.
Oh, you talking about Mayor Pete?
Yes.
But Mayor Pete, though, I'm gonna tell you something.
Mayor Pete is
Mayor Pete
following-
could do it, though.
Mayor Pete is following John F. Kennedy's model.
Right, he's following John F.
because
Kennedy's model.
He's following
Exactly.
John F. Kennedy's model. People are going to like him anyway.
He's
Right.
not going to be the first gay president, though. I can tell you that.
Well,
He might not get the nomination.
he might not get the
anyway.
nomination, but
Right.
I would still think. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I know we're talking politics here. We're gonna get into these Sambo conservatives in a minute. He even if he doesn't get the nomination, he still can find a great position for himself inside the administration.
That's right.
Honestly, I think the person who's enough to take away Trump voters is Joe Biden. As much as everybody want to talk about Joe
Yes,
Biden,
yes.
I think Joe Biden can get into the Midwest and take away Trump voters.
Right. But you know what? My thing with Joe Biden, they keep talking about the bill that, the crime bill that was passed. But
Everybody voted for that crime bill. Let's just be.
everybody.
They ran that narrative up and down people's
Yes,
throats.
yes, everybody
That was
voted
good.
for
That was
that.
L.A. gang violence, and they ran that bill. And I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying you can't knock him because everybody was jumping on that bill.
Right. Then they talk about how, about Bill and Hillary.
Right.
Y'all, we lived in Little Rock during that time.
Right.
of course, I don't want anybody to call a black person a super predator.
Right.
But at that time, y'all, it was crazy. It's almost
Okay,
like
well,
that
let's
now.
get into that because we're talking about black folk. We talk about
Right.
being monolithic.
Right.
Black people was acting a fool here because I had just moved here from the military.
Okay.
And I went to Eula. And gang violence here in Little Rock, remember, banging in Little Rock.
Right.
It was
At an
ridiculous
all-time high.
here.
Yes, it was at an all-time high.
It was
And
it was ridiculous.
It's sad and unfortunate, but people act like they don't know that or they don't recognize
turn the
it.
volume up.
Or turn my volume up.
No, I'm turning mine up because everybody's saying they can't hear. But here's the thing, guys. If you want to hear the whole show and it's completed and not worry about the live, you can listen to us on joynetradio.com. Usually I put that on there, but y'all should know. Y'all been following us for years now.
Here, you want me to go? D said that it messed up when the video jacked up the sound. D,
The
what is
video
it?
jacked up the
Yeah, I
radio
can come
killed
up.
the video star. But anyway, well, we're
MTV.
working. Look at this, no sound. My sound is bad. Why is everybody talking about my sound?
I think it's because we're both on. Let me.
Just turn yours off.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
turn yours off. Y'all just do y'all feed. Yeah, just do like you did last night, was cutting yourself off.
Okay.
Okay, Sonny and shit. Now, can everybody hear us now? You'll let us know in a second.
Can you hear us?
Okay.
We'll just watch. Okay.
So we talk about that. And, of course, you know, in the 90s, of course, in Little Rock, there was white flight. And not only
Right.
was there white flight, there was black flight, too.
We just talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked.
There was black flight. There was black flight.
It's like
D, get on JoyNet Radio. She tell me feedback. Get on
well, it
joynetradio.com.
shouldn't
That's the
be
best I can
feedback
tell you
anyway.
guys.
It shouldn't be feedback now because I cut my video
Yeah.
off.
Well, I mean, if they want to hear it, that way they can hear us both without just hearing the feed.
Well, Great White Flight did happen.
Well, it happened in
here.
New York too.
Yeah.
In the 70s, when New York was bad, all the white people because when I was growing up in the Bronx had white folks. There was a lot
Right.
of white folks in the Bronx, especially in Northern Bronx. Go to Bronx now, you won't find any white folks.
But it's kind of like
They all moved up to
here,
Westchester. And,
everybody moved from East Little Rock.
Right.
They started moving west.
Right.
Now what's so crazy is people are trying to go back to East Little Rock because the marina is going to be down there.
Mm-hmm.
If you go down on the side of Heifer International and you look,
yeah, they're
look,
redeveloping all of that.
they're redeveloping. You'll see those houses and apartments.
They've
and
redeveloped Quapaw.
Yes,
What's
and
up, Big
people
Mark?
don't realize that that's what's going on. And it's even like when the white people moved to Broadmoor. Now they're moving out of Broadmoor. They're moving further west because black people started coming that way.
Oh
And
yeah,
so-
black people out in the ranch now. White
Right.
folks is like, oh Lord, what is we
Right.
gonna do?
And
And
then-
look, it wasn't just black people; it was other people of color,
Right.
Indians, Pakistanis.
Right.
So you know, the people. One thing I've tried to tell the colonists, look, you're not gonna escape black people.
No, not
So
at all.
wherever you move, we're going to move with you. And understand this too. What you have to understand about us not being monolithic. Yes, you're right.
Right.
I hate going out to Walmart on Highway 10 and seeing sisters running out there with purple hair or red
Wait,
hair.
Hold on. That's my Walmart.
That's your Walmart out there?
Yeah, I'm down the street. I live down the street. Yeah, that's my Walmart.
Oh my Lord! I mean, and you know, and you're right. They're different. They're different aspects of black people.
Right.
I mean, you have black people that love to be hood and they love to be ghetto. And I mean, look, let's just be real. Most of us came from the ghetto, but you got to remember. I said this. I don't know if you remember the show 3 weeks ago. You have a generation of black people that don't know what it is to grow up in the hood.
Right. Right.
You have these kids now. You have kids now graduating from high school, never saw the hood. They may have had friends that grew up in the hood.
Right.
You have
That's kinda how
a generation of children that grew up in Chenal, that grew up in more well-to-do areas, so they have no idea what it is to really be in the struggle. Struggle for them is not getting a pair of Jordans for the weekend.
Well, I can be honest. I didn't know what it was to be in the struggle.
Oh,
I
you
grew
know
up
it
in
was struggle.
John Barrow, but I didn't know what it was to be in the struggle.
Okay, so well, you got to remember too, when you were growing up, John Barrow was the area. Anything
Right.
past University Park,
Right.
the bougies, they lived in. Me cursing out this person is getting ready to call me when they know I'm on the show. The bougie people, the bougie black folks lived in Twin Lakes
Right.
and Kensington.
Right. Oh
Right?
yeah, that was upper crust.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
That
used to
was
hear
upper
it.
crust.
I used to
Or
hear it.
wait,
Oh, you gonna go to them
wait.
stuck up girls over in Twin Lakes?
Wait,
I'm like, this stuck up girl.
but you can go even further. You can
Huh?
go to Pleasant Valley and Pleasant Forest.
But that's the thing. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Don't even let me
yeah,
get started.
yeah.
Pleasant Forest. Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Those
you know,
are-
black folks made them a little money and they moved on up like the Jeffersons.
Everybody worked for the railroad.
Everybody worked for, all
or
my
at the
uncles worked for the
VA
railroad down here.
hospital,
Exactly,
and-
exactly.
Yeah.
So we put a whole generation of black people in a what is called a upper economic level. And the thing that upsets me with the young Sambo conservatives is that we know now supposedly unemployment is at its lowest rate. But all these black people now are sitting around here giving Trump credit for it.
But unemployment really isn't at its lowest rate. The thing is, what people don't understand about the numbers for unemployment is you can be unemployed, say you're unemployed for the maximum amount of time. Once it passes that maximum amount of time, they don't even count you anymore because you're no longer on unemployment.
Right.
So if I'm on unemployment for, I think, maybe 12 weeks or 16 weeks, however long it is, whatever the time is, I've been unemployed for a whole year. I don't have a job. After my unemployment runs out, I'm no longer counted in that number. So those numbers aren't the true number of people that are unemployed. And
Right.
that's what a lot of people don't understand. And then if you look at the way the economy is going now, you look at the tariffs and all that kind of stuff.
The deficit.
Yes, the deficit, which is increasing at an alarming rate. And you look at all these jobs that are leaving now. Unemployment might say it's good right now, but by the time we get the next president or those next 2 terms, it's going to be so terrible. The economy is going to crash again. You can tell.
Oh yeah, but that's the way the model was set up for capitalism anyway, and that's why capitalism inherently fails.
Right.
So let's just be real here. People say, well, you know, Trump is doing stuff. What has he done for black folks? I'm still trying to figure out what he has done for these Sambo conservatives that makes them, because, okay, we don't want to be monolithic. Okay, I don't want to be groupthink and all black folks thinking, well, you know, I only answer to life as Democrats.
Right.
Okay, but the point is, when you sit around here and you latch on to Trump, Trump is a what? Republican.
Yeah.
When you latch on to him
A racist
and you say, well, you know, he's doing it better. See, those are what I call the scared Negroes. Because the reason why I say that is white folks is happy right now.
Right.
And see, let's just be real. I don't know if you saw this article that came out saying that supposedly, now I don't know who took this poll. It must have been Fox News. That supposedly racial discrimination racial tension has decreased.
No, that's a lie.
Well, but you know why they're trying to argue that. Look, let me argue, play the devil's advocate and argue from their point. You know why racial tension has quote unquote decreased? Because white people got what they wanted. They wanted their white man in there who reaffirms their belief system. So yeah, they're happy now.
Right.
They're happy. Oh yes, MAGA. So yes, all the black folks who were scared to even come out because when Obama got elected, these white people rebelled and had what is called white lash.
Right.
They sat around here and people want to say, you know, that's why you hear this argument that Obama took race relations back. No, he didn't take race relations back. Race relations were already built on the stain of slavery and racism.
Right.
What happened was that now all these white people were so upset, they started looking at black people like, You see what I'm saying?
Scared
That's
we
why
were gonna take their
that's why
place.
race relations went back.
Right.
Because white people were pissed. They
Right.
couldn't get up in the morning and have to deal with a Negro in the White House. So they were pissed. So yes, race relations went back because they had to sit around here and they had to sit and take it. And they were also upset not only with black folks who voted for Barack
With white
Obama
folks.
overwhelmingly, a lot of white people
Right.
who voted for Barack Obama overwhelmingly.
And that's why it changed. That's why.
So now they got their white face back in the White House.
Right, and that's why
Oh,
it
it's
changed.
easing now.
It changed, and what I mean by changed is because these white women that voted for Barack Obama, their husbands told them this time, no, you're not voting for a Democrat. You're going to vote the way that I vote. They lied. They came out and said, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And you see what happened. We still got who we got in office. So the thing is, like you said, they got what they wanted.
Right, they
They're
got
doing
what
what
they
they want. And I don't know why people don't see, like, even with the terrorism, and I'm
Right.
talking about domestic terrorism,
Right.
the terrorism that's going on right here in the United States right now, these white-on-white crimes per se, or not necessarily white-on-white, but the crimes that's going on where they're mass shooting, they're going to the schools and shooting, they're going to
Right.
the colleges and shooting. That's even on the rise. So it's like they're just angry.
Because these people, see, this is what they didn't understand. They thought by putting Trump in, it was going to be zoopity-doo-dah and everything.
Only
you
if
have
you're,
people have
only
to
if
be
you're
mad.
super
Some
rich.
people have to be mad regardless about
Right.
anything.
Right.
And what they're mad about, okay, they're like, okay, we got us a white figurehead, we have Trump. But this country is still heading toward a majority brown nation. And like I said, not to get off topic, when we talk about these abortion laws, you think, like somebody said, I said, you think they care about black babies? They sit up and cheer when black people get shot by cops.
Right.
Unarmed black people get shot. You think they care about black babies? They don't care about black babies.
No.
They care about repopulating white women. So now because who gets the majority of abortions? White women. They get the majority of abortions. Not black women, not Margaret Sanger's old black genocide. No. White women get the majority of abortions because they can afford them.
Right.
So what they're trying to do is they're looking, like Dave said, 20, 25 years into the future, and they're like, uh-oh. We had to be
they've always been worried that they were going to be wiped out or their race wasn't going to be pure anymore. And, of course, it's never going to be pure because everything derived from black anyway.
There you go.
Everything derived from black. And then on top of that, there's so much swirling, quote, unquote, as they call it.
Y'all with the swirl.
Yeah, it's so much swirling going on.
Yeah, because you kind of chocolate and you kind of chocolate, he kind of vanilla over there. Look at Ron. You got some of them colonizers in your skin cone, don't you, boy? Look at that. Yeah,
We both black.
Y'all
black people come in all shades of color.
They take. You're right. We go from almondy. We go from white chocolate to kind of like
if I
the
have
deep
any
berry.
white in my blood, then hey, we know why.
Yeah. You cowboys. Y'all went out there and hooked up with the Indians and all of them. Y'all cowboys did that.
Well, I can say that I am a descendant of slaves. My great-great-grandparents were slaves, so I'm fully black. I don't know what y'all are.
You're not a descendant of slaves.
Stop playing.
No, you're not a descendant.
You're not a descendant of slaves.
What am I then?
You're a descendant of kings and queens.
Well, that too.
We need to stop that.
Well, that too.
Okay? If you only limit your history to slavery, then you miss out on a glorious history. Your ancestors were stolen from Africa, who were kings and queens, princesses, doctors, lawyers, architects, you name it. They were sold into slavery.
Well, I am a descendant of people that were sold into slavery.
That's better, but
Okay.
but I wouldn't even say that. I would say I'm a descendant of kings and queens.
But see, when the reparations come, if they come, I need to be able to say that and prove. You see, so I got.
You're still gonna be able to prove that, but I'm just talking about a mental capacity here. Is that whatever you answer to, that's what you are.
Right.
Okay.
True.
And what we've been saying, and a very dear friend of mine in Atlanta, who has a campaign about, it's called ADOS. Americans Descendant of Slaves.
Right.
And I've talked to him over and over again.
Right.
Because Africans in America are not descendant of slaves. Okay? Because believe it or not, quite a few of us were already here.
Right.
True.
Okay? So, and those who came, as a matter of fact, I talked about Omar Ibn. They just published his book. It is I talked about this yesterday on Black Focus. They just published his book. He was apparently he was some type of king or something who was sold into slavery, and he documented the sale and his life as a slave in Arabic. And the Library of Congress just published this week.
Okay.
And they are fascinated how it's like, we can't believe he was so smart.
Hold on, are you talking about the gentleman that was taken from Senegal, the one that did the portrait of Diallo? And he had memorized the Quran by the age of 5 and was able to document.
No.
Okay.
And I've got his name on my wall.
Okay.
I talked about it yesterday. But the point being is that here was a man who clearly was learned, who was stolen into slavery.
Right.
He wasn't a slave.
Right.
This man had royalty in him, and they just published this book, which I'm going to read this weekend. It's a fascinating tale. In fact, they believe it is one of the only real accounts of someone who was enslaved. And the reason it got published is because white people couldn't read it. They didn't know what it said.
Right.
So he was able to clearly delineate what was going on, and they just published it. in the Library of Congress, and you can go out online and read it. It's a fascinating story. So that reinforces what I've been saying, what thousands of other scholars and architects have been saying, is that those people were not people that were hanging out in huts.
Well, no.
These were smart people who built the pyramids, who explored medicine, who charted the stars. We need to stop saying we are descendants of slaves. We're not.
I get what you're saying, and I totally understand that. However, it doesn't negate from the fact that, unfortunately, some of our people, they may have been kings, queens, princes, and prince. They may have been royalty in the upper crust, but it still doesn't negate from the fact that, unfortunately, they were stolen. Some of them were stolen. Some of them were sold. Some people were already here and then made to become slaves, but that is what unfortunately happened.
Yeah, that's part of the journey.
Yeah.
Right.
So let me give you a better example. You grew up in John Barrow, right?
Yes.
Okay. I was in John Barrow long before you were there, because my mom, her first house was bought on 4000 Malloy.
Okay. We're on 35th and Cobb.
Okay, I know exactly what it is. So long before black people moved out there, we were out there. But here's my point. All right, your journey between the time that you grew up on John Barrow, that journey that you took in that period until now was just your journey.
Right.
But your roots are where? On 31st and Cobb, right? You get my point?
Yes.
So that journey that we made from Africa through the Middle Passage, through slavery, through black codes and Jim Crow, that's just the journey.
Right.
Our origin is Africa.
Right.
That's the point.
Now,
So.
I agree with you. I get it.
Yeah.
I get that. Totally and completely.
Oh, that's good. You know, that's the angry black man. You got to watch him because.
But I like him.
Yeah, go ahead. You know, he.
What Dave was saying, our history don't start with slavery.
No, it doesn't, and it should,
It doesn't.
and it shouldn't. And the thing about it is, and see, this is why I get upset when I see Sambo conservatives dressing up in Confederate uniforms. When I see Trump supporters, because see, here's the thing that I think that 75% of Trump supporters don't even know this guy. I'm a New Yorker. I know Trump. He's from New York. I grew up in him when he was wanting to be the New York celebrity, when he was just nothing but a big loudmouth at the time. This was before reality TV.
Right.
You know, every time the New York Post or the Daily News wanted to talk about something in New York, they go see him on the street. Hey, Mr. Trump, what do you think? Because, you know, he was a multimillionaire.
Right. So he said.
Right. So he says.
Right.
You know, I'm surprised he could rub two nickels together. But they would go up and, hey, Mr. Trump, what do you think about this? Oh, well, you know, yo, you know, that's the way it is. And, you know, okay. But
That was before he got interested in politics.
right, that's before he even thought. That's 20 years before he even considered politics.
Right.
And at the time, he was harmless. He was just another rich colonizer that comes from the upper elite in New York City. I mean, and you know, basically the blue bloods, as we call them,
Right.
up from the New England area and the Mid Atlantic area, who have money. So now you got all these people sitting around here talking about this guy. Hey, Anthony, that sit around here and look at this guy. Okay, like they know him and they know his policies. First of all, if you're black, what he did with the Central Park Five was appalling.
Yes.
So if you can still stand by him after that, and here's the problem. This is where people don't understand. People evolve as they get older, supposed to.
Some of them don't.
Some of us do. And I'm going to wait for Joe Biden to be doing some evolving, because he's going to have to explain some of this. The same thing with Kamala Harris. They're going to have to be doing something. They got some explaining to do.
Right.
Okay, on their public record. So there's a time that you're supposed to evolve in life. If you don't evolve in life, then there's a problem.
Right.
This man has never sat around here and apologized for that hit piece that he took out against those 5 youths that were exonerated.
He took out a whole
Ad in the New York City Daily News and the New York Times against them. Okay? And then when these guys got exonerated, he never apologized. So black folks going to sit up and line up at the door. He's not racist. Well, why didn't he? Here's my point.
But he doesn't take responsibility for any of the
But
things
then if you
that
can't
he
evolve, I
says
got a
or do.
problem with you.
Right.
If
and
you can't sit
I'm
up and
agreeing
say,
with
hey,
you.
look, the way I thought about that at the time was where I was at. Joe Biden, you better be listening.
Yeah.
Is when we talk about this crime bill. And that's the same thing I think could have helped Hillary out in 16.
Right.
Look, at this time, this is where I was at. But since then, I have came to the light on some things, and I was wrong. It doesn't hurt to tell your constituents I was wrong.
Right.
Okay, so when people don't sit around here and just don't have the issue to evolve, if they can't evolve, and I don't care who their PR people are. No, don't give in. They listen to this George W. Bush.
You need to be able to reach the people where they're at, and what
Right.
I mean by that is, like you said, they need to. Joe Biden, explain why you did what you did.
Right.
And it's easy to see if you open up your eyes at that time. It was crazy stuff going on.
Right.
It was things that people were afraid to deal with. I mean, we as black people, we know how crazy it was.
We were scared to go out the house because there was gunshots running around.
We couldn't go to house parties. I remember it was a house party in Twin Lakes. Somebody came by and sprayed the house. You know, different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those times were scary. Even like now, I have a 20 and a 23-year-old son.
Mm-hmm.
Mama, I'm going to go to this party. The first thing I say is, what type of people are going to be at the party? I really don't want you to. And of course, I can't keep my son in the house while he's at home for the summer. But that's the first thing I'm asking. What type of people are going to be there? Do you really need to go? If you see something crazy, go ahead and leave. Don't be the last person to leave, because that's when everything always, you know.
Right.
So we have to be realistic about what was going on.
What's
and what
going
we
on,
felt.
right.
You can't get mad just because this white person said this or said that, because we were feeling some of that too. So we have to be honest.
Right. Well, you know, it's just like now. Highway 10, Sonic.
They was hanging out last night.
Well, don't let me get started. And my boy Reggie put this out there. He pointed it out, and I went through that the other night just to get me. I forgot what I can get. I think I went to get me a slush or something. And you go to Highway 10, Sonic. They let the white kids go out there and hang out right there on the parking lot.
However,
congregate.
They let the black kids hang out too, as long as they're with the white kids. Now, it can't be
Ain't
a
that
whole bunch.
Ain't that some?
They were inclusive.
Well, you know what? I can't curse on radio. But let's just be real. If that Sonic had been in the hood,
no, that's not going down.
it's not gonna happen.
No, they're going to be like the Come and Go. They're going to put those.
Cops come up there as soon as they see a
those
bunch of black
concrete
kids. Here come the cops.
barriers,
And look, and my lady said it flat out. She said, She said, I don't blame him. She said, can you blame him? She said, if you go in the hood, that sign gonna be shot up within 5 minutes.
That's right.
And you go out to the sign on Highway 10, they letting them kids sit up on top
does
of
that
cars.
mean-
Shooting up the high schools.
Huh?
Who's shooting up the high schools?
The white folks.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is this. At what point do we as black people take responsibility and say that these things are going on? We need to address those things as well as address the crimes that
What's
are
up, Rhonda?
that
Trouble.
are
What's up,
against
Pedro?
us. So, I mean, my thing is we need to be honest and
okay.
upfront,
Honest.
and we're not. So you
No,
can't
black
be,
people are the biggest deniers of it.
Okay, I'm
and,
just
and
making
you sisters
sure.
are too. I'm not gonna go into what we talked about last night. Sisters
Who?
in
What are you
denial,
talking about?
black folks in the. Oh, you want to talk about
are you
that
talking
again?
about?
About
I
how
have
we
no
have a
recollection.
double standard?
I mean, I had a couple of, drinks. And
Yeah, a couple of drinks. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I don't
y'all might
remember.
did something strange for a piece of change last night. I'm gonna forgive y'all.
Just quickly, the name of that book at the Library of is called "A Conversation on Omar Ibn Said," collection at the Library of Congress.
Stephen will put it in the notes for those.
You know, I just
Okay,
lost my, I just
so
lost my feed.
so definitely go out there and check that out. And one other quick point, I hear what you all are saying, but I think we need to be careful because what caused the crack and cocaine epidemic in Little Rock and across this country.
Influence and bringing it in.
Okay. So what we need to be careful of, what's going on with some of these young people out here in the streets is a problem, but that's actually a symptom. The problem is white folks flooding our neighborhoods with drugs and illegal weapons.
Right.
Okay, so it's very easy for us to look at these young black boys at the end of the chain and say, oh, they shouldn't be doing this. Oh, they need to go to jail. Think about this. They flooded our neighborhoods with these illegal drugs and weapons. Then they changed the prison system.
Right.
Y'all get that, right?
Made it for profit. Right.
Okay? They made it for profit.
Right.
They did that purposely. And if you go back and you look at their history, and it starts with Lee Atwater, and you look at their history, they tell you that they're going to do this. What's going on with Trump today is what they've been planning for 35 years.
Right.
Okay? They've been planning this for 35 years. Through ALEC, they wanted to take over the state houses because most of the laws are written in the state houses.
Right.
What Democrats did, they focused too much on Washington, D.C.
Right.
While Democrats were focusing on Washington, D.C.,
They were infiltrating at the state.
the Republicans focused on the state houses.
Right.
Now you see all across, particularly the South, where they've taken over the state houses. They've literally taken over the country. They did that by taking over strategic state houses. So what we get caught up in sometimes is not being able to see the forest for the trees.
Right.
We have to, certainly black people have to be responsible for their own independence.
Right.
Okay? But we cannot absolve white people for causing some of the pain and destruction that has went on in our community.
Right.
And if we don't talk about what happened with the San Jose Mercury News and Gary Webb and Oliver North and the Iran-Contra, then, yeah, we'll be blaming. It's almost like now when a black kid gets shot, what do you say? Well, he shouldn't have been doing that.
Right.
Not understanding that, wait a minute, that black kid has constitutional rights. Mm-hmm. You see? And we get caught up quite often in doing those things, and this is how they get us. We have to, when you say we're monolithic, that's where we're monolithic. We have to start being able to look at the bigger picture and being able to examine multiple things on multiple fronts. And until we do that, because that's what they do.
Oh, no. Well, just get it twisted, Dave. I understand exactly what you're saying. And that's a whole, if we went to that conversation about how the crime bill even became into fruition, talk about Gary Webb, that movie Kill the Messenger, how he went and did it and they tried to destroy his career because he exposed how the Iran-Contras were being purposely flooded into the streets of L.A.
Oh, he committed suicide. He shot himself in the head
twice,
2 times.
Remember? Twice.
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 I'm serious.
One time wasn't good enough. One time wasn't good enough. He had to do it twice.
Right.
So yeah, we could talk, but that's a whole show in itself. We can get that in within an hour. You know what I'm saying? But you're right. We could talk about that, but that's a whole show in itself. So no, I was just arguing that based on supposedly the politicians that weren't in the know, who claimed they didn't know about what Reagan and them were doing, they basically ran off this intel and said, hey, we got to do something about this. We got to be hard about it. You know, remember Dolores, what was her name? Was the black sister that was sitting around here fighting against rap music. I can't remember her name. Dolores wasn't Claiborne. It was Dolores something.
Tupac mentioned one.
Yeah, but she was in the late 80s, but she was railing against NWA. See, it's coon stuff like that. It just upsets me. It just.
But she was just saying that
I mean,
music was destroying the.
I mean, ignorance, black ignorance. We don't learn from our history. I mean, you got all these black people, Candace Owens, Bill Carson. I'm sorry, not Bill Carson. What's his name?
Ben Carson.
Ben Carson, Uncle Ben. Crazy Uncle Ben, who's sitting around here talking about Oreos in a congressional hearing.
And then sent the Oreos to the lady's office.
See, that's a.
Okay, so you know what? You bring that up, and I have been wondering.
I just can't.
I seriously have been wondering, is this an act? Or is he really that ignorant?
No, because I mean, when I see black people act like this, I have to look and wonder if we being pranked by our own people.
That's why I'm saying, is this an act? Are you serious? Is this really what you think? Really what you... Look, go and say what you got to say.
Well, no, there's a thing called an educated fool. Okay. And Ben Carson, as great as he is with pediatric surgery, I mean, the book Gifted Hand spoke to the type of person Ben Carson is as a surgeon. But it's clear that he has no common sense whatsoever.
None.
Okay?
He's
because
aloof.
I don't understand how a person who can grow up in the projects, who struggled, who didn't know where his next meal was coming from, single mother, and then could take over an agency and try to destroy single mothers. It's almost like a self-hate relationship.
Right.
That it's a Freudian type a conversation with Ben Carson, and really after I saw that thing the other day, I mean I knew he was an idiot, but that confirmed it.
That they were storing grain
in the pyramids,
yeah.
You know, stuff like that. I mean that's called being an educated fool, right. And I say that because there are a lot of black people out here who are educated fools,
including some of these hotels.
They get their degrees, they get their nice cars, they get their nice salaries, and then all of a sudden they forget where they came from.
They forget where
That's called educated foolishness.
The struggle.
Exactly.
And my problem with that is you never forget the struggle, because what you don't understand is ultimate. Look, let me just put this out here, Black Beauty, Howard Cowboy. No matter what you do, this system is still controlled by the colonizer. And no matter what you think you're doing, they can still take that away from you at any time. They can take away that Mercedes while you're out here running out the Little Rock Mercedes trying to buy you a Mercedes for $20,000. While you out here doing all this extra, it can still be taken away from you. Just because you got a job, you can be out of that job tomorrow. So we have to remember our history. We have to remember how we used to be entrepreneurs and did for ourselves.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because in this system, it could look. Let's just say you're living in Little Rock. You live out in the ranch, out in the West with the white folk, okay? And you making good money. You're doing about $150,000 a year. That's good money in Little Rock. Good money in most places. But you got a nice house, a couple of cars in the garage, but you got most of your money is coming off benefits at the 401k. What happens if the stock market crashes? Your stuff is gone.
You lose your money.
You lose your money.
And then you lose your mind.
Right. So your everything you built your life on and your livelihood on is still built and based around a house of cards. So what we don't understand as black people is that you're right. We need to be out here becoming more entrepreneurs, doing our own thing, having our own business. I pretty much work for myself. Okay. Now, does it become a struggle sometimes? Yeah, it does. But it's beautiful when it works out. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So
Ford just laid off 7,000 people.
There you go.
Hello.
Dress Barn is closing. Ford.
Exactly.
Ford. All these
7,000 people.
Wait a minute. Is that the Ford plant or the Huawei?
No, that's the Ford plant.
Yeah, they just
7,000 people.
7,000 people, but in this so-called booming economy.
So to your point,
right?
I was talking to a sister the other day, and I said, "Hey, I hadn't seen you in a while." I said, "Hey, we were supposed to be having lunch 6 months ago." She said, "Well, I've been humping. I've been hustling." I said, "Well, what do you mean you've been hustling?" She said, "Well, I've been making money, selling money, selling this, selling that." I said, "Oh, you got a business?" "No, I don't have a business."
Well, what do you mean?
I said, "Well, let me ask you a question." I said, "I bet you pay 37% in taxes." She thought about it for a minute. She said, "Yeah, about around in there." I said, "What if I told you that I could teach you how to pay 18 to 24% in taxes? Would you be interested?" Nah, I wouldn't. Now, the difference is that as an individual, you pay 33 to 37% in taxes. Right. Y'all understand that, right? Yes. As a business owner, you pay 18 to 24%.
Right.
So all these black folks out here hustling in these little businesses on Facebook,
right,
out of their homes, don't get it that all you got to do is go down to the revenue office and pay $25 to get a business license, right, and then all of a sudden you can pay 18%. Now, of course, you got to get the federal ID as well, right, but that's insignificant. So my point being is that we don't understand the concept of business, okay? We don't get that. And part of that is because they basically beat business concepts out of us. Right. If you go back and look at history, all of these riots, all of Tulsa, you look at them, 9th Street when they hung John Carter right there on 9th and Broadway, all of them were in black business districts.
Yep.
All of these people were black business owners. The majority of the people that were hung were black business owners.
Are we talking about Black Wall Street? Or are you talking about?
Yeah, Black Wall Street as well. All of that. In Elaine, Arkansas, right up the road.
Right.
That was about black farmers owning that land.
Right.
Okay? All across the country, when you go and you look at the lynchings, the violence perpetrated on black people post-slavery was on black business communities. That was by design.
Right.
And I think psychologically, we believe that, at least scholars believe, that has psychologically damaged us,
right,
to go in business for ourselves. Okay, right. That's part of that process, because if we don't own anything, then we're not going to get anything. Okay, right. The reason we're not going to get reparations because we don't have any financial backing to get reparations. Y'all get that, right? Because if we could go to ex-congressman or ex-senator and say, "Hey, look, we paid X amount of dollars in your campaign.
Mm-hmm. You need to vote.
We want you to vote for reparations."
Right.
We don't have that clout right now. That's part of the problem.
So we got some people that have that clout, that could have that clout if they band together.
Well, yeah, because we do have a black upper epsilon that can help us. Yes. I mean, we've got Jay-Z, we've got T.I., we've got a lot of black entrepreneurs, right, Oprah, that can do that.
You got that lady Oprah.
Oprah. The Sunday do that.
I know, he crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that it's just interesting how everything is going. And I mean, like I said, now we're in a trade war, and these people, unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be another situation with the way black folks were with Bush. They're going to hang on to the sinking ship.
Right.
And, look, when I talk
That's
about
scary,
being,
though.
well, it is, because here's the point. Black folks, we also some of the most forgiving people in the world.
We are.
We don't agree with people, and I don't have an issue with black people in my family having different politics from me. The only time I have an issue with it is when it's destructive to us.
Right.
Okay? When it's destructive to us, yes, I got an issue.
Say, Mr. Taylor.
What's going on, bro? Oh, my God. We got Roderick in the house. What's going
How
on,
you
bro?
doing?
Man, I hate that mic ain't working, because I would love to have you on our show now. We talking about black people being monolithic. Man. Bro, what's going on, bro? Why you didn't come about 30 minutes ago? We could do it on. Okay, well that's cool. We're gonna get you on the show probably next week or so, because I know you running. You announced that you're gonna be running. Well, see, that's what I'm talking
I
about.
reposted it. Yeah, I posted it.
I hope I didn't scare him to death when I drove him home. I was the people bugging me on my phone after the show, and he was like, "Man, wait, don't." Okay, but and that's my problem is when I see black people voting for stuff that is detrimental to us as black people.
I don't think we look at the big picture. We look at the now. We don't look at how it's going.
Right, and that's how they condition us to look at the now.
Right.
Who was that shared that post, Andre, in the group yesterday about the brother who got laid off after 13 years?
Right.
He only take $20,000 out
Right.
of his 401k.
And his wife was scared.
And invested.
Right.
Right, and that's what they do. They get us
Right.
scared
But his
to
wife
even
don't know.
take a risk on being self-sufficient.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all an example of this that I saw in my childhood, and people laugh when I talk about it. Good times. Every time James wanted to take a risk, Florida would hold him back. James had the opportunity to go work in, like, say, Alaska or something and make money and pull the family out of the ghetto and all that kind of stuff. And she didn't want him to. She talked him out of it. So I think that we as black women sometimes don't know how to stand down and step behind our men to take the chances and do the things that they need.
Right,
to do.
and that is what has happened. And don't get me wrong, it also permeates with working class people in America in general. They rather be comfortable at their job and get that $100,000 a year to step out on faith and say, you know what, I need to be a business owner and work at home.
Right.
Or because there are going to be some time, there going to be some struggling
hard
time, and people don't want to deal with it. Americans like comfort. Black Americans too. We like comfort. We get out here in Highway 10. We ain't trying to go back to Central Little Rock.
Right.
We out here with that Mercedes. We ain't trying to go back down to Honda.
Yeah, Americans like their comfort zone.
I can honestly say when I was working for myself, I do have my own business now, but when I was just totally working for myself, I had a shoe business. I made more money than I made now. Really? However, I worked a lot harder, and it was a lot of long hours, and it was, it was stressful. But when I look back on it, I think if I had kept going, I would be in a much better place.
Right.
But like you said, we're scared. We like comfort.
Right.
And I kept saying, oh, I don't have no benefits, though. What if something happens?
Right, something happened to you, you get sick. And look, with the state of this country, especially with healthcare, look at me.
Yeah.
My doctor said he couldn't understand it. He said, Mr. Borland, he said, you've been in this hospital. He said, you have been cut open 3 times. He said, you're a healthy guy. He said, you have went through a lot. But you don't think when you out here kicking it, and me,
Right.
I do the Devil's Advocate show, I do all this stuff, that out of something so small as a hernia operation will mess around and put you in the hospital out the blue. And it hit me out the blue.
Right.
So you're right. When we talk about
if you get married and your wife has benefits, that you can utilize her benefits. And
so what that supposed to mean, the kid? What you trying to go there? So you trying to make me somebody's husband? Is that what you trying to do? You got your husband, so now you gonna try to make me somebody's husband? That's what it is.
Don't slide
You got your wife.
I'm just saying.
No, thank God I had my own benefit. But I want to thank everybody for joining us. Of course, get ready for Black Focus and the Angry Black Man. I want to thank Black Beauty and Highway Cowboy. And I wish them safe peace on their journey. Hopefully next week we're going to have back Don Malone. And I think Head Sample's going to be back. For the month of June, he's going to be joining us back in. I want to thank him for helping us out. He's out there. And look at that. So sweet. Boy, you lucky my phone did, because I blackmail y'all till y'all was 100. So I want to thank you guys for joining us. I hope you guys have a safe trip down to Shreveport. Man, don't forget, look for me some Crown Peach, bro. Brother ain't got no. I got you when you come back to Little Rock. You know, black folks just taking all the Crown Peach out. Just greedy. That's all.
You got a cup. I'll pour you a little cup out the car.
Okay, yeah, before a little cup. Pour some in my hands. Okay. I will congratulate Dave for a good bill of health. Maybe this week he'll go and punch.
It ain't cancer, baby. It ain't cancer.
Yeah.
Woo!
Hopefully he won't go and piss off the colonizers this week, so he won't kill none of them. Yeah. So we will see you guys here next Friday.
Thank
same
you for having me
back
this
channel,
Sunday.
same bat time. And again, don't forget, if you can't stand the heat, hell, stay out of Hell's Kitchen, folks. That's all I can say. Bye, folks.